What is up, people? The internet, it is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And I think it's time, after we have a rough idea how redistricting is going, to finally do a 2022 House ballot, or House prediction, with my generic ballot prediction included. Because I think we have a good understanding on how the House redistricting is looking. We have around 148 seats still in litigation, still redistricting, so it's still not 100% complete, but I think it's fair to say we can finally start giving out some predictions for how the House will look in 2022. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, smash a like down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, let's try to hit 200 likes on this video. That'd be greatly appreciated, and yes, let's get right into it. So, quick disclaimer on this map, alright? I have 40 House seats that are ranked as quote-unquote toss-up. This doesn't mean these seats are actually toss-ups. These are just 40 House seats I am willing to give my 2 cents upon, because I think it's kind of annoying to, say, oh, well, you see here, Iowa's first in a toss-up. Not really, it's just more so I wanted to talk about it, give my opinion on state districts that could be relatively close. Now, my personal prediction is this. Republicans are going to take back the House. And the generic ballot, by the looks of it, will be R+6, R+7. So, as of now, that's my current prediction. This map will be based on R+7/6 electorate. So, that's a disclaimer. And I'm only using lean to likely margins. For lean margin, it's just anything below 5 points. Anything above 5 points will be a likely margin. Anything above 15 points would be a safe margin. So that's the quick disclaimer. So yeah, that is the disclaimer again. These are not toss-ups. Most of these are pretty obvious how they're going to go. They're just kind of a good way to show you what states or districts are actually going to be important. So let's start with the surprise redistricting of 2022. Arizona. You look here. District 2 is single-handedly the reason that I think Republicans would take back the House. It went from a Biden +2 seat to a Trump +8 seat. Do I have to say any more? This alone is a free flip. There's nothing they can do in this seat. I mean, it's gotten significantly more Republican. As for District 1, where David Short is, he actually overperforms Trump by a substantial margin each time. I think he wins by, 6-7 points. Again, it's one of those seats that, yeah, Trump's not like there, but David is. So I think it's kind of another one of those that's fairly easy to tell. And against R+7 partisan lean according to 527. So you get the point. Now, as for Arizona 6, I don't think it's safe, but I think it's likely. I think that they made substantial gains in this district by making it almost just a complete 0, like D+0. And that alone, I think, is a reason that Republicans going to win this district by, again, above 5 points. So, this is, I think, their first 2 flips. Yeah, they're both flips. So, these are 2 free flips that Republicans don't have to worry about. Not put much time into them, maybe like a quick ad buy here and there. But really, they're not really worth spending that much time in. It's kind of an obvious prediction. Now we have Colorado. This was a surprise to me when this map came out. And, of course, it came from the quote-unquote independent nonpartisan. These people are half to 90% of the time nonpartisan. But they actually made a good map. Relatively clean, relatively quote-unquote fair. I do think it's a fair enough map where it's not, one way so much, but still it leans Democrat. But District 8 is the one district we have to talk about. It's only Biden +4.5. And you look at here, it's an R+3 district with partisan lean. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be like R+20 or anything like that. I think it's going to be, R+2, R+1. I think it's going to be one of those bellwether-ish districts that if it goes Republican, Republicans are going to have a very good night. It's a more suburban, exurban district of Denver, so it does give us a good representation of how things are looking at the night. If Republicans don't win it, not the end of the world, but it could go Republican. I think it will by 2-3 points. Now we have New Mexico, and this is one of those states where I have my example of it doesn't mean these districts are actually toss-ups. The reason I say this is simple. District 3, it's still Biden plus 10. It's not going to go anywhere. In fact, I think it's going to go like a D plus 7, D plus 8. And you go to 527, yeah, it has a partisan lean of 5. But as of now, it's still one of those districts that will be closer, but I still think like a D plus 5, D plus 6 victory is where it's heading. Now, as for New Mexico 2nd, I'm not even going to mess with that. Guys, yes, it got substantially more quote-unquote Biden-friendly. But Biden's energy policies are destroying this district's economy. So, that's all I'm going to say about it. There's really, again, one of those districts that, yeah, it got more Biden-friendly. But you look at where Biden's approval has collapsed the most in. Yeah, it's definitely the definition of this district. Very Hispanic, very rural. That's where his hardest hit approval rating outside of, the suburbs are in. It's rural Hispanics. They are just, like, despising this guy. And that's what this district is. It's like 90% rural. So it's not going to go anywhere. Republicans are still win it. Bit closer than usual, but with the national environment being so Republican, a district getting hammered by Biden's policies, it's fair to say Republicans will win it. Now, Nevada. This is the funniest one to me. Everybody knows Nevada because this is the meme of the election, this cycle. What is this? Why did they do this? Yeah, they made District 4 more Democrat, but look at this. They made District 3, more Democrat, sure, but District 1, they made a toss-up. All 3 of these are within 10 points. And as for District 2, I'm not going to even mess with that, but I do think Nevada's 3rd. It's going to go Republican. I do think District 4 will go Democrat. And I do think District 1, it's going to be within a point. But I do think as of now, Democrats will still hold on to that district. But it's a free flip in Nevada's 3rd. Yeah, Republicans lost it by a couple points. And it did get a bit more Democrat. But it's a red wave here. And it's in part of Nevada that's actually trending a bit Republican. So it's so stupid what they did. Thank you for that, but that wasn't too smart of you guys, to say the least. Now we have California. We have a couple seats here. Really, the only main toss-up is really California's 3rd. I believe so. Yeah, that's California's 3rd. It got substantially more Democrat. Got a bit more non-white, a bit more educated. But I still think that with it be still voting for Trump in 2020, I do think it's still like a R plus 6, R plus 7 win. It's an R plus 8 district. Yeah, that's a lot less than it was. But I do think it's still a good prediction of R plus 8, R plus 9. So it's still going to likely go Republican. As for California's 22nd, this is one of those weird districts that should not exist. It's a very Biden district, but you got that clown Valadeo there. And I still think he pulls it off by like a 4 or 5 point win. Mostly on the back of it being a red wave here. And he's running kind of like as the orange man bad Republican. Which is dumb, but it's true. He's one of those orange man bad / not really Republicans. California's 22nd. Mike Garcia, I'm not even... He's a favorite Republican of mine. He's going to win by a lot, I think. Yeah, it got slightly more Democrat, but the partisan lean, about 3 points, it really didn't change that much when you account for the national environment, Garcia's popularity, and everything above. So that's a free flip in my opinion. California's 41st. It's one of those districts I'm not even going to mess with. Most of these districts in LA, you could really say, Young Kim's going to win, and Michelle Steele, they're both going to win. They're both going to win. It's so stupid to think that they will lose. They barely got more Democrat, these districts. Yeah, give me a break, they're going to lose. Those two are going to win by a substantial margin. As for the 41st, it's going to be closer. It will be closer. Or, likely. It should be likely, in my opinion, actually. So yeah, it'll be closer than usual, because how it was redistrict, but I still think Republicans will win it by a substantial amount. So it's, again, one of those districts, don't waste your time in. Don't do what you did, like in Baltimore. Don't waste money on that district. Just stop. Now we have Oregon's 5th. Oregon's 5th, I think, got a bit more Republican. Yeah, it got a bit more Republican. And if I remember correctly, let's see here. Yeah, it did become a bit, It went from D+5 to D+3. I still think, this is a tough one. This is going to be one of those that's going to come down to, like, a week later. I think Democrats will pull it off, though, by, like, half point. It's going to be a very close race. It's one of those races where it's one of those districts that got more educated, but at the same time, more white. So it's going to be a very interesting race. It's one of those, former Republican districts. There's a lot of, Republican moderates there. It could be interesting, but I still think Republicans win that. Now, Nebraska's 2nd, I'm not even going to mess with. Don Bacon's going to win. I just put that there because it's kind of a semi-close district at times, but I won't even mess with it. Now, Iowa's 1st, I'm not going to mess with either. It's obvious. Meeks won. Even with all the horse shit that happened, she still won. That's all that really matters. And yeah, the district got 1 point more Democrat. That's not going to change much. And when you look at the shift of it, yeah, a couple more points Democrat, but it did give more white and only like a point more educated. So it's one of those districts that it's still going to trend a couple points Republican in 2022. So like a, 8-9 point win for Meeks there. Now, as for District 3rd, I think Democrats will lose a seat. It's one of those seats that Democrats or Republicans are behind like 5 years on. Of, Trump doing very good in this district, but Democrats down ballot doing a bit better. I think Republicans will win this district, especially with the environment, especially with how the Midwest is just despising this clown in office. And it did get a bit more Republican with redistricting. So, R+1, R+2, it'll be a close one, but I think Republicans still pull it off. Now we have Illinois 17th. I'm not even... This is a disgrace of redistricting, or a quote-unquote disgrace to democracy. This. What in the world is this? This is disgusting. This is what they call, fine, but they go down to Indiana and they complain about it, being racist. It's like, really? This is disgusting. Who redistricts like this? What district looks like this? Why? It's just so stupid. This is not how you redistrict at all. Iowa, for its my complaints about it, that's how you're supposed to redistrict. Try to keep counties together. Not this garbage. Now, Indiana's 1st. I had a rant ready for Indiana's Republican Party because I am pissed off at this one. This should be a free flip. But instead, those cowards just stood there and barely made it a bit more Republican by a half point, maybe. So, Democrats, it's going to be closer like usual, like D+4, D+5, but Democrats are still going to win it. That should be a free flip. That is a waste of a seat. Dear God, the Republicans suck. It's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. We have these many rhinos in the Indiana GOP that just sit there and just let that district go. It's a scam. It's a complete and total scam. Now we have Michigan. This is one of those weird ones. The way they redistricted, District 3 I think is a fluke. With 2020, District 3 is one of those seats where I'm saying I call horse shit. It's a complete fluke. Yeah, it got a bit more non-white. Yeah, it got a bit more educated. But that was one of those rare circumstances of Biden doing great there, with other factors included. It's one of those seats that Republicans I still think will win. Yeah, it'll be closer than usual, but Republicans still hold it off. It just, there's a lot of things that happen in the Grand Rapids area. Not exactly the F word. It just, Trump underperformed his margins there in some areas, but also the F word. So, but it's not just the F word. There was some struggles with Trump in this part of the state. I wish he would have spent more time in this part of the state. He didn't. He should have, and the rallies he did do in the Grand Rapids area, he tried to copy 2016. It really was not a good idea. As for the rest of these districts, I mean, Michigan 4th, it's going to be likely Republican. As for Michigan 7th, though, it's a tough one. It's one of those seats where you have, like, one of those, Democrats that, I represent a Trump district and I'm proceeding to shit on Trump all the time. I think Republicans flip it. It's going to be a hard-fought one because incumbency, but that's a tough one. That is a very tough one. Now, this is my first major hot take of the video. Michigan 8th, I think, would be likely. It's one of those districts that, the Flint area, this is the part of the state where I think Republicans will have the biggest gains in Michigan. I think they're going to win a lot here. Like a 5, 6, 7 point win. They should, by the way. This is a very blue-collar, working-class area. And there's a lot of issues that people have in this area about Biden. And I think that Republicans, if they run the correct candidate, should win this district by a lot. It should not be, we're going to lose it. They better win, I swear to God. This should be a free one. District 10, that's one of those seats that it's a free flip. It's kind of just there. Really, it's just there. Michigan 10th it got more Republican. That's all you need to know about it. So, it's a district that used to be a bit more Democrat, like 13 points Democrat. Now it's like 1 point Republican. So I think it's part of the Macomb County area. There's a lot of blue-collar former Democrats that live in the area. And I do think they're going to continuously trend Republican for the next couple of cycles. And that's one of those districts right in the middle of the area. So I think that's another free flip. Now we have the monstrosity that is Maryland. And I'm sick and tired of these people saying, the GQP, they're actually the ones that unfairly redistrict. Look at this! What is this? How can you say with a straight face that this is a fair map? I mean, look at this! Look at the Baltimore! They're just splitting up districts like nothing, or communities like nothing. Like, it's one thing. I mean, the new map, yeah, it made, Maryland 6 a bit more competitive, by like a half point. But dear Lord, it's still gonna go Republican, but this is just disgusting. This is one of those instances where you do need reform when it comes to redistricting, because this should not be allowed. You should not be able to split up communities like this. It's just a scam. It's disgusting that the Democrats could just get away with this. But when Republicans somehow, when this redistricting is somehow racist and against black people, but this is perfectly fine. What is this? What is this? And luckily, it is being sued, so it may change in the future. Now we have Virginia. District 5, that's safe Republican. Virginia 7th. Spangenberg, it got a bit more Democrat for Spangenberg. Yes. But even when you look at the governorship election, this is one of those districts that made a significant shift towards the right. I think that Spangenberger, I should say Spanberger, sorry, excuse me. You know what? I think she's gonna win. I think that she got saved by redistricting. Barely. It's a weird one. I think as of now, I think Spanberger wins. but it's going to be close. It's going to be another, like, a repeat of 2020, where it's going to be, like, within a point. As for Virginia's first, the only reason I put it here is because it's a bit more, you know, it's closer in presidential levels, but it's safe. It's not going to go anywhere. As for Virginia's second, this is a flip. This is a free flip right here. I mean, they made it significantly more Republican, and Maria has held on barely a couple of times. I think she's going to lose, and that's another free flip for Republicans. As for New Jersey, New Jersey second, I think this is one of those that got a bit more Republican. Let's see. So it's R plus 9, well, R plus 7, yeah. That's one of those seats that, it's in southern New Jersey, where most of the trends in the New Jersey gubernatorial race happened, and where I think Republicans will make the biggest gain nationwide. Now, as for New Jersey 4th, that should be safe. I don't know why that isn't. Now, New Jersey 7th, though. This is interesting. This is another one of those intriguing districts that... it's one of those, another part of New Jersey that is working class and made a significant shift towards the right. I think Republicans flip it. Especially with how white working class voters in New Jersey voted. This should be a no-brainer. I think this is an easy flip for them. Now, it's going to be close, because it is New Jersey we're talking about. But if the swings that happened in the governor's race happened in 2020, too, there'll be multiple flips in northern New Jersey, and southern New Jersey as well. But I think this is a flip that's kind of easy to tell it's going to happen. Now we have North Carolina. We're going to ignore North Carolina's 14th. That was just there because it did get a bit more Democrat in redistricting. But we do have, finally, a GOP that had the balls to do something. North Carolina's second. This may be one of the greatest FUs to the Democrats I've ever seen. It went from a Biden plus almost 9 district to Biden plus 2. It got more white. It got more uneducated or, smarter people, actually. So, yeah, I think Republicans will win this by a substantial margin. This is part of North Carolina in the past 20 years that used to be like a Democrat stronghold, has become essentially a toss-up. And that trend is not reversing anytime soon. It's a very working class area that will continue its shift towards Republicans. As for North Carolina's 4th, I'm not even to mess with. That's a safe district. Only put it there for reasons of just memes. But for real, because it got like only a half point more Trump friendly. But it's still a very, very Republican seat outside of the Raleigh area. Now we have Georgia 2nd, I'm not even messing with. That's likely. Again, a lot of these seats, they're very obvious how they're going to go. It's a D plus, 8 district? I believe it is. Or something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, D plus 4. Yeah, it got more Democrat, but it's one of those districts that, it's not going to go anywhere. Especially for House races. It's one of those seats that more friendly for Republicans up ballot, but not so much down ballot. As for Texas, the 15th district's flipping. I'm not even playing around. This is one of those easy flips. This is one of those seats that I've been telling people, yes, the Texas GOP did not do the best with redistricting, but I think this was a good redistricting in southern Texas for the 15th. I mean, it's an easy flip. You don't have to do much. Just spend like $2 there, and it's an easy flip. Now, for Texas's 28th, this is where it gets a bit complicated. If Kohler gets primaried out, I would say to like the Republican seat. But it doesn't look like there's any real primary challengers. I think Democrats hold this seat. Kohler, I should say. He's a weird Democrat. I may make a video on him in the future, but I think he holds on unless somebody primaries him out. If a Bernie bro primaries him out, we might as well put this likely. But there's no real challengers, I believe. Again, if there's any challengers to these seats, put them in the comments down below. I may miss one or two. And yeah, so that is the redistricting prediction. Oh, Maine 2nd. We almost forgot that one. That's a unique one. I don't think much changes. I think Golden, he's gonna win. He's gonna win by like 5-6 points again. He's fairly popular up there, but if he screws up something, if he makes a bad vote the next year, then maybe he loses. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And this is my current prediction. Dear God, this is just, ugh. It feels so weird still not having Wisconsin up here, not having Minnesota, not having Ohio now. So this is my current prediction. And I know this was a bit more tedious, more boring-ish of a video, but I wanted to give, a more deep dive into, the House races, because it's one of those things that we still don't know much about for candidates, so that's why I had to constantly look at the data. And, yeah, so this is currently how I see the race going. Of these 40, competitive-ish seats, or something like that, I have 24 that, lean or likely Republican, 10 that are, lean or likely Democrat, and there's like 6 other that like split 50-50 if they're safe Republican or safe Democrat. So Democrats, as of now, I think, have 137 House seats. Republicans have 150. And this is not including Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Missouri, Kansas, Ohio. When you include that, Republicans probably already have the House. So, yeah, this is my current prediction. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this long video. 26 minutes, dear Lord. But, yeah, smash the like down below, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the little bell, and yes. Sorry for the longer video, just had to do a deep dive into the current House races. When we know later on, when we have, more districts, more candidates, it'll be easier to predict. Just as of now, it's a bit hard because I'm still not used to the districts, how they voted in the past. And, yeah, thank you guys for voting, or not voting, but if you can vote, get out and vote. This will be a big election this year. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed, and, yeah, Godspeed, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.